What's up YouTube? Cailer Woolam here. Now, a little thing you guys might not know about me yet is that I have the strongest grip in the world. Don't believe me? Just check this out.
Let's go, Cailer! Let's go! We did it! We did it!
Now, for all the people that said my weights have been fake or that I've been cheating, that was 927 pounds done in a legitimate powerlifting competition with both hands, that's right, double over on the bar. 927 pounds lifted with a double overhand grip on the bar. So that confirms that I have the world's strongest grip. Just to show you guys another example, here's another one. Now right there, that was a little bit of raw training footage of me doing 980 pounds off of blocks with, yet again, a double overhand grip on the bar. Just, again, proving that I have the world's strongest grip. Or do I? Well, let's dig into that a little bit. Actually, I don't. I'll confess that right now. So what I do is actually called the hook grip. So what exactly is the hook grip? For everybody that doesn't know what the hook grip is, well, it's basically a way to hold on to the bar with a double overhand position, and it allows you to hold as much weight, if not more weight, than you can with a traditional mixed grip on the deadlift. So right quick, I'm going to show you guys how exactly you should be putting your hands on the bar for the hook grip. Okay, so getting our hands set on the bar for the hook grip. It's really like a pretty simple thing to do. A lot of people seem to not really know how to do it. But, you know, it's just as simple as, you know, line our hands up like this. And here you see we just have a regular double overhand position on the bar, and it just kind of looks like that with our thumbs outside of our fingers, like that. So the only thing that changes with the hook grip is, you know, we try to just force this thumb underneath our hand and reach over and grab it like that. Alright, so what we're mainly looking for here is getting this index finger over the back side of this knuckle on our thumb. And so usually if you can do that, then, you know, this middle finger is going to reach over just fine. And that's really all we're looking for right there, is just to get, you know, this index finger over the knuckle of our thumb and get that middle finger over the top part of our thumb like that, and then just squeeze our hand down into place. And that's how you hold on to the bar for the hook grip. It's really just as simple as that. Alright, so it might not feel super comfortable at first to do this. Obviously, you know, that besides the pain and everything, you know, you might not have the flexibility in your thumb to reach over like you should and be able just to reach over and grab easy like that. So a good tool to kind of use is, I really had to start forcing my weight down onto the bar when I first started doing it like that, and almost like even pull my thumb across with this opposite hand. You know, that way I could just reach, and then I would just sit there and hold it like that. And I would do that on each hand, you know, a couple of times. And what that would do would just kind of loosen up that thumb joint a little bit and build a little bit of mobility in there. And the more and more I did that, you know, I did that every time I practiced the hook grip. And then just doing it that way, you know, it got to the point to where I could just reach around and just grab it really easy without having to really, you know, stretch my hand out too much before it was already just kind of ready to go, because I had worked up the mobility to that point to be able to do so.
Okay, so now here we have my lovely guest, Taylor. This is my girlfriend. Alright, so we're just going to compare our hand sizes right quick to each other. And as you can see, my hands are a decent size bigger than hers. So Taylor hook grips, so she's going to show us how she grabs the bar, even with smaller hands. Just to show you that it still can be done. You can still do this and have success. Okay, so go ahead. Yep, see, just like that. She can kind of reach around it just fine. Do that one more time. Great, yep. Just like that.
Simple enough, right? Why doesn't everybody do it? What are the reasons for even doing the hook grip? Why does it matter if you have both of your hands pronated on the bar whenever you deadlift? What benefits are there to that? Well, let's go over that a little bit. I personally think the hook grip is superior to the mixed grip for deadlifting in every possible way. Why? Well, the first, most obvious reason would probably be because having both hands pronated on the bar using a hook grip completely eliminates the risk of a bicep tear. Now, if you've been deadlifting for a while and the weights are starting to get pretty heavy, a bicep tear, unfortunately to say, is probably going to happen at some point or another in your career, especially if you're, you know, getting into the 700, 800 pound range for your deadlift. I've even seen several people do it with 600 pounds, but you know, there's approximately 0 cases of a bicep tear with both hands completely pronated on the bar. It takes all the tension off the bicep, and that's just something for you to not have to worry about. Tearing a bicep is a huge recovery process that you do not want to go through as a lifter. Reason number 2, do you have issues with your grip on the deadlift? Well, try out the Hookgrip a little bit, because that should probably help you out with your grip quite a bit. Now, one person that immediately comes to mind when I'm thinking of somebody who switched over to the Hookgrip to eliminate their grip issues would be George Lehmann. George Lehmann has successfully deadlifted 909 pounds in competition. Now, I remember watching some older videos of George Lehmann before he hit this feat of strength on the platform, and anytime he would pull in the higher 800s, he would lose his grip because he was using a mixed grip. So grip was definitely the limiting factor for him on that. And I saw that as soon as he switched over to the Hookgrip, that completely eliminated his grip issues. And he even said so himself. He was one of the first people I saw using the Hookgrip, and one of the first people that inspired me to start using it as well, because I saw him successfully hold 909 pounds with the Hookgrip. So what is the difference exactly? How did it help him? And how do I think it helped him at least? Well, if you look at the way the Hookgrip is, okay, so with a mixed grip, you know, you got one hand like this and one hand like this. So you're literally just using the strength of your hands to keep the bar from rolling out of your hands, right? Well, you know, with the Hookgrip, not only does it create the same effect as, you know, the reason for using a mixed grip in the first place is that as it rolls down this hand, it'll roll up this hand. Therefore, it locks it into your hands. So when you have an overhand grip, the bar is just going to want to just roll out of the back of your fingers like this. However, whenever you tuck your thumb underneath the bar like this, it creates the same locked position as the mixed grip. However, the difference here is that, for one, you're using your grip strength to hold your fingers shut against the bar, just like you do with the mixed grip. But with the Hookgrip, you're also getting the added benefit of friction against these 3 fingers together. So you have your grip strength and friction in your place. Therefore, it is going to make your grip stronger than a mixed grip ever will be. Reason number 3. I personally think that you're going to be stronger and able to lift a heavier load with both your hands pronated. Now, grip issues aside, I think that's why you'll see people that use straps able to lift more weight. Like I said, grip issues aside, people using straps will be able to lift more weight because they have both of their hands pronated. Now, why do I think this is the case? Well, let me ask you something, or this is what I usually ask everybody else when I talk to them about the Hookgrip. Well, how do you have your hands on the bar whenever you do a pull-up, or a shrug, or a bent over row, or even a bench press? You know, everything you do, your hands are always like this, right? I mean, you know, every time you do a pull-up, a shrug, a bent over row, both your hands are over on the bar. Now, a couple of people have said, oh, well, Cailer, I do this whenever I do pull-ups or shrugs. Don't. I'm sorry, that's dumb. Don't do that. There's no reason to do that. Basically, my point that I'm making here is that your back is built to be strong. You build your back to be strong with both of your hands in this position. So, therefore, it only makes sense that you're going to be able to lift more weight off of the ground with both of your hands in a double overhand position. Alright, reason number 4 for the Hookgrip: better symmetry and lat engagement during the execution of the lift. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Well, basically with both your hands over on the bar, the lift is going to be much more smooth. Okay, so I can even reach down to the bar further. I'm able to engage my lats better. I'm able to get a tighter position, you know, because like I said, every time I do a row, both my hands are like this. They're not like this. So I'm able just to get a more symmetrical, tighter position of my back throughout the movement of the lift. Number 5, and the personal reason that I switched to Hookgrip in the first place is me being a sumo puller. Using a mixed grip was becoming a bit of an issue because we get what's called the helicopter effect. So as we come up, you know, the bar is going to want to move out in front of us like this, right? Because this hand being like this and this hand being like this is going to make the bar just kind of, it's really hard not to do this when you're lifting a maximal amount of weight. So with this, you know, we're able to maintain the smoothness, and the weight just goes straight up. And you'll notice when you see a lot of people doing a really heavy deadlift that you will, even conventional, you will see that this tends to happen a little bit, or the bar will even dip on one side. It'll dip in their underhand or their overhand, and it's just not as symmetrical as a double overhand position on the bar is going to be. So the way that I figured out that that was going to work better for me for my deadlifts was that I would, I obviously experimented quite a bit, and I noticed that whenever I would use straps or something for, a bunch of reps or like a heavy set or something like that, that it just felt a lot better. Now, I've never had grip issues a day in my life, so it wasn't because of that, but I noticed that, I wasn't running into the friction of my underhand against my thigh. I was having, a lot more success with using the strap because with my hands were like this, and it just felt smoother. So then I finally figured out what the hook grip was, and then that's ultimately the reason that I switched over to the hook grip. And one more thing that I noticed that I liked was, I guess we can call this reason number 6 if you want to. Well, whenever I would do a maximum pull with a mixed grip, I feel like I'd be really restricted back here. Now, I'm not a huge guy, but I do have a decent amount of mass throughout my chest and shoulder area. So whenever I would strain and lean over and go like that with the mixed grip, I would get a horrible cramp in my pec of the underhand, or even just both of them. Honestly, to the point to where it felt like my pec was gonna rip. And I noticed that doesn't happen anymore now that I have both my hands over on the bar every time I do a heavy lift. So just one less thing to worry about once again. Okay, so obviously there has to be a downside to everything, right? Well, what's the downside to hook grip? It hurts a little bit. I mean, that's it, really, because if you think about it, the weight is sitting like on top of your thumb whenever you pull. So it's not the most comfortable thing to ever do, but if that's the worst thing you have to worry about, like, pretty much what I'm saying is just don't be like a pussy about it. Just go do it. It's really not that bad. You get used to the pain over time, and what happens is you build up, like, the skin on your thumb gets a lot thicker, and it's basically just becomes like one giant callus. And I think the nerve endings even die. That's probably not true, but I just say that to be funny. But what happens is you build up that thick layer of skin on your thumbs, and it basically acts as a pad. And then, before you know it, when you get the adrenaline rush of doing a 1-rep max or something like that, it just doesn't even hurt that bad anymore. Now, I will say the hook grip is probably better to stick with for sets of like, probably no more than 3. I'll do like a 3-rep max at most with the hook grip. I've done a 5-rep max before, and it really hurt quite a bit. But 3 seems to be pretty good. It's definitely the best for like doubles and singles. You definitely don't want to be doing like sets of 10 or 12 or something like that with the hook grip, because you're just asking for an unnecessary amount of pain, and you really don't get that much out of doing it for that many reps. I've seen a couple people do it that way, but props to them, because I think they're just tough. I'm definitely not tough enough to do that, but I can definitely muster the pain long enough for at least 3 reps most of the time, so not that big of a deal. So kind of how I introduced the hook grip into my routine was, in building up the pain tolerance, was that I just started off with a really light weight. So at the time I was maybe deadlifting around 750 pounds, something like that. So I think the first time I did it, I worked up to maybe 300 or 400 pounds. I did it like a couple of times, and did the same thing next week. And the week after that I did 500 pounds. The week after that I would do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Slowly building up that pain tolerance to the point to where I could just do as much as I could deadlift with the weight, and got to where it felt comfortable enough for me just to be able to rip the weights off the ground with it. And that was as simple as it is. I've even seen some people being able just to go do their 1-rep max the first day they try hook grip, and that's not going to work that way for everybody. I was actually pretty impressed. One of my buddies down here in Texas named David, he was able to, the first time he ever used the hook grip, he's able to do like 804 pounds or something like that. So it was kind of ridiculous. So it can be done, but you could just slowly work your way up to it over time, and then at most maybe like 6 weeks is what it'll take you to build up a decent amount of pain tolerance and a little bit of extra calluses on your thumbs for it to not hurt so bad. So hope that helps answer that question a little bit. So I do also want to mention that the hook grip might not work for everybody. I have seen some people whose hands are just too fat or too small to use them, but a vast majority of people will be able to use the hook grip for the deadlift. That's why I used my girlfriend as an example earlier, because her hands are quite a bit smaller than mine, but she's able to do it just fine. And you'll notice a lot of small women in the Olympics, who do Olympic weightlifting and stuff, are able to use a hook grip, because obviously you have to do it for like a clean and jerk or a snatch or something like that, because the bars are going to fall out of your hands. But they figure out a way to do it. So I think it's possible for most people to be able to do it. Now, I personally do think this is the best way to deadlift, and I do hope to see a pattern in, you know, some of the better deadlifters from here on out being hook grips. You know, I do see that coming, and I am trying to spread, you know, a little bit of awareness on the subject by not only like proving that it's worked so well for me, but that it can work well for so many other people. Now, obviously, you don't have to use the hook grip to be a great deadlifter, but I don't think it's going to hurt. I think it's something that you should try out if you haven't already. See if it makes a little bit of difference in your routine, or in your deadlifts, or just whatever. It's definitely worth trying out. It's always worth trying out something new. Anyway, I hope this was a good video. Hope it really helped you guys out a lot. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, if I left anything out, or if there's anything else you guys like me to cover, or any more questions that I can answer for you guys. But, you know, that's my basic rundown of the hook grip. Thanks for watching.